All right, guys, I feel very honored and privileged to get a chance to speak to this next man in the aftermath of UFC 304, Coach Dave Lovell. Thanks for joining me on Submission Radio, man. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So, Dave, I guess, things are a little bit bittersweet. First thing I want to ask of you is, how's Leon doing? I know it mustn't be an easy thing to sort of go through. How's he been in these last 24 hours?
First of all, you just have to excuse me because I've nearly lost my voice, which you can understand from Sunday morning, from the fight. But yeah, Leon, you know what? He's took the loss. It more hurts him mentally than physically, because physically all he had was a couple of mouses under the eye. But emotionally, performance, he was like broken-hearted over it. But physically okay, just mentally a bit, traumatized.
So I got to ask, Dave, what do you think happened in there? I know that the fight didn't go the way that you planned. Was there anything that Belal did that surprised you? He did look a lot improved since that first time you fought him.
Yeah, we've seen the improvement in him. His hands have improved. But it was just a case of, we never expected anything different. He did what a wrestler's supposed to do against a striker. And his game plan come off. Where Leon was concerned, a lot of people don't know this, and I'm not making any kind of excuses for him. But we had a few niggles in camp. His back was niggling him. So he couldn't wrestle the way he really needed to, offensively and defensively, because of the niggle that recurred about maybe 2-3 times. But not taking nothing away from Belal's performance. He did well. He done well. The best man won on the night. But Leon will be back.
Wow. Okay. With the niggle, for example, were you guys ever considering pulling out or delaying the fight or rescheduling it at any point?
Well, believe it or not, we had a powwow about it, and I was very dubious because this niggles was going on for about maybe five or so weeks, on and off. He had to go to a chiropractor, regular massages. But again, after one session, it was back to square one. So in the back part of my mind, I was thinking, well, should we go for this? But because he hadn't fought for so long, Leon said he wanted it. So we just pushed forward with the injury, trained through the injury, and tried to, get through and get a victory. Unfortunately, it never happened.
What did you think of Belal sort of pushing the action the whole fight? And what did you think of Belal's striking? It looked like Belal's striking has improved since his last fight.
Yeah, definitely. His striking has improved. I don't know about being Canelo, but, his striking has, since the last 3 years since he met Leon. Well, it was just a case of obviously Leon running out of gas. Belal smelling that he was running out of gas and pushing the issue. So, it is what it is. It's the fight game, and you can have a bad day at the office, but in this case, he's lost his title.
I gotta ask you to take us into the corner, because there were a couple of times you were trying to sort of get Leon going. You were sort of in the corner, kind of yelling at him, "Let's go, let's go." Take us into those moments. What was going through your mind as you were in those later rounds and you realized that you really sort of had to turn something on right now because things weren't sort of going in the right direction?
That's right. Okay. The game plan was for Leon to hold the middle as much as possible and give ground when he had to, but try not to get pushed against the cage, because we knew Belal's game was he was going to try and grind the decision out, take Leon down, hold him down, and grind out a decision, which he did. Leon tried in parts of the fight to hold the middle, to try and push Belal on the back foot, because that was part of the game plan. But obviously, he didn't have the gas to maintain it. So Belal just plugged forward and got the win.
How much did the timing of the fight impact Leon? I know he mentioned after the fight he was feeling tired all week. Take us into that, man. How much of an impact was that?
Now, you tell me, whichever fighter have you seen in his own country come out at 5:30, 5 a.m. in the morning to fight? Realistically, it's a joke, really. Belal never really had to adjust because his clock is set to the times of what we was fighting to. But Leon in his own country had to adapt as if he was climatizing, as if he was fighting in another country and fighting at 5:30 in the morning. It just doesn't seem right somehow, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine having to perform at 5 a.m. in the morning. I got to also ask you, when it comes to Belal, the week leading into the fight, I saw there was the whole thing with the elevator. Belal kept referring to you in different ways. What is your feeling on Belal now? And is everything all good? Was it all just fight week lead up stuff, or did you take any offense in the stuff that he was saying to you leading into the fight?
No, I've got no animosity towards Belal leading up to it or after. Listen, the man's a fighter, and he's fighting for a position that Leon was in. Yeah, I shook his hand after the fight. I shook his father's hand. So there's no animosity from where I'm concerned. The thing that happened in the elevator is just a bit of fight banter. But as you know, we're not an aggressive crew of lads. We don't try and intimidate our opponents. It was just how Belal, through his talk, sort of like just built up that little drama. But it was just fight banter at the end of the day, my friend.
All right, guys, before we continue in the interview, I have a sponsorship announcement that you're going to want to hear, and that is with our friends from Manscaped, who are offering you 20% off and free shipping right now with the code word submission. Listen to me. I know Submission Radio has you sorted when it comes to your MMA coverage, but these guys have you sorted when it comes to your ball coverage. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is an absolute game changer. It comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, so you can choose between a precise trim or a smooth finish. And did I mention that it is waterproof? Yes, you can trim in the shower and avoid making a mess everywhere. It's perfect for those of us who appreciate efficiency. And let's talk about the beard hedger just quickly. Whether you're going for a neat stubble or a full-on lumberjack look, this trimmer has you covered. It features a titanium-coated stainless steel T-blade and 20 length options. You can achieve any style you want with just a twist of the zoom wheel. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra always ensures that you're looking your best below the waist, while the beard hedger takes care of everything else. 20% off and code word submission now, plus free shipping. Now back to the program. Just going back to the end of the fight, Leon came out, landed a nice elbow on Belal, and it kind of looked like things got going, but it was a little bit too late. What was your thought when you saw that elbow land, and what was going through your mind seeing the clock sort of go down, but Leon was finally sort of having a bit of success and looked like he could have potentially maybe even do something to finish the fight in those closing moments?
Yes. Yeah. The last round, if the round 4, when he came back after round 4, basically I said, well, listen, do you want me to stop this fight? And he's looked, got his attention, he's gone, well, no, I effing don't. Well, I said, well, come on, you need to get out there, Leon. You've got to give it all you've got. Here we go again. We're in the same position. We got to get out there and leave it out there, Leon. Just let it go, son. And he went out. Belal, unfortunately, managed to take him down for basically half the round. But towards the end, when he managed to reverse it on Belal and put it on Belal, he caught him up, and it was a good little finish. But we needed more of that during the fight. But it just never happened, did it?
Mm. Did you ever actually consider stopping the fight as you were watching it play out?
No. I was never considering it. I was just saying that the last round to try and get his attention to get up and go out and go hell for leather. Yeah, that was the whole motivation thing behind it. But yeah, no, I would never stop the fight. He wasn't taking damage from me to stop the fight. He was still fight. Maybe Belal was getting the better of the wrestling, but he wasn't taking no damage. So no, I was never going to stop the fight. I just used that expression just to see if I could get something out of him. It is what it is, isn't it?
Dude, I gotta say, you're one of my favorite coaches in MMA, and I love the way you connect with fighters in the corner. Just a little side thing. Where did you learn to connect with your fighters in difficult moments in the corner like that? Is it just something that naturally comes to you through your relationship with the fighters? Or did you learn it from some of your mentors in the game as you were coming through, the boxing game, for example?
No. But what you see when I'm in the corner is raw emotion. It's real. Nobody's taught me it. It's just fatherly coach, mentor kind of feelings you go through when you're in the corner. And the fighter you're dealing with, the temperament of their nature of their, temperament. And you can know how to talk to them, how to press their buttons. I like to think I've got that with most of my fighters. The new ones probably haven't got it yet because they haven't had the experience of fighting. But the lads that have been experienced fighting with me, they know how I roll in the corner.
So after the fight, what did you say to Leon? I know he would have been super upset. It would have been a difficult sort of 24 hours for him. Is there any words of wisdom that you imparted on him? Anything that you mentioned to him? Any positives that you could sort of take away from the experience? I suppose he still fought even though he had those niggles and he still showed up, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, the team spoke to him. All the coaches had a little talk. But because I sort of come back same time back to Brum with him, we managed to have a little pet talk. And yeah, he's heartbroken over it, which, it's understandable. In the fashion he lost it, that's what really is getting to him. The way he lost. We wouldn't mind he have lost the fight and he put his heart and soul of it and it was a blood and sweat guts fight and he's lost and the better man won on the night. We got no problem with that because we're fighters. But when you lose, when you haven't given your all, you haven't, for whatever reason, it's heart-rendering, it's heartbreaking. And Leon won't settle on that. We're just rebuilding now. Had a little pet talk to him, get Tim to start throwing some names because he's now got to start shouting out, making a lot of noise. So we've got Tim to start, straight away working on the UFC, Hunter, etc., Dana, etc., and see what they come up with in the near future.
Tim Simpson, man, one of the nicest and best managers in the game from Australia. Love that guy, and he does an incredible job. So I'm sure he'll get you guys a great fight. Dana White in the post-fight press conference, though, said that it didn't look like he was going to go in the direction of a rematch with Belal. What's your reaction to that? And who do you think could be a good name for Leon if it's not Belal next?
Well, I can understand Dana saying that. He wants to see a bit more excitement. But as for the next opponent for Leon, let me think. I don't know. Tim said he was going to throw a few names out there. Maybe a Shavkat and Ian Garry. Throw it at the UFC, see what we get back. Obviously, Leon's got to get himself back in contention to fight for the title. So, being a three-time defending champion, I think if he gets one, maybe two wins with a few of his up and coming guns, or one that's in the top five, I think Leon could get to fight Belal maybe towards maybe not 2025, but in the 26, God willing. Winning the title, he's going to kick back till the middle of next year. Well, why shouldn't he enjoy his moment? We just got Tim to throw some names out there and see what feedback comes back to us.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned young guns because, you've got JDM, Jack Della, you've got Ian Garry, you've got Shavkat, three young up-and-comers like you mentioned. For your preference-wise, for you, who would you prefer to see out of those three next for Leon?
I'd like to see Leon fight Ian Garry.
Oh wow, okay. I know there's a bit of a history there. Why is Ian the guy that you think would be a good one for Leon next?
Obviously, we can keep it British based, either Ireland or over here. As the little background story we had going back last year is looking for a scalp. Now Leon's not champion. He may think, well, it is a good scalp for him to get to obviously march on to get a championship belt or title shot. And for Leon, if Leon beats him, that then puts him at the back of the queue. And then maybe if they want one more before he fights back Belal, if Belal still got the belt, well, that'll be the future move, the future plan.
You know Ian Garry better than a lot of people. He was in your gym. How do you think that fight with Leon looks?
Well, Leon would, I believe, beat him with the simple fact of fight experience. He's a good lad. He's got good skills. But we know, because we've seen some, when he was at our gym, don't just think he came to the gym and it was a boogie ride for him. You know, he was getting tapped out by, again, I'm not mentioning no names. If he wants to mention them, that's up to him. But yeah, he came to Renegade. He was amongst us. He was getting tapped out while he was learning. But yeah, you know, Ian Garry's a name that obviously would put Liam back on track. I think so anyway.
I've got to ask about Belal Shavkat, because a lot of people think it's going to be that fight next for Belal. Who do you think will be champion when Leon comes back to it? Because you mentioned it just before, might not be Belal. Shavkat is an incredibly talented fighter in a fight that everybody would love to see Leon have as well. But who do you think wins between Belal and Shavkat if that is the next title fight?
I believe Shavkat beats him. Shavkat is a machine. He's got that machine-like mentality. He can fight, he can wrestle, but he likes to bang them out with his hands to prove that he's not just a wrestling kind of guy. You know, the part of the world from where them boys are from, you know, they're once they're focused in, and I don't think Belal would have enough firepower to keep Shavkat off him. So I believe Shavkat would beat him.
Yeah, and that's an exciting fight as well for Leon to fight, you know, Shavkat for the does that excite you, the idea of Leon fighting Shavkat for the title, get that title back against someone like a Shavkat?
Yeah, because Shavkat, he's got that come forward style. You know, his guard ain't the best in the world. And yeah, that would suit Leon as a sharpshooter. And obviously Leon would obviously put the wrestling correct. You know, I wouldn't say his wrestling, what he did wasn't adequate for what he did during the fight. It's just that he couldn't sustain it, as you've seen. And the wrestling Belal on his back 24/7, it drained him. So, yeah, you know, I think Shavkat would more have a stand-up rather than go to ground with Leon.
All right, so you guys are looking, so you guys have to figure out the niggles first, and then you're looking for a return this year. It's likely we'll see Leon fight again this year.
Well, hopefully. We'll just see what the UFC says.
Perfect. Well, I can't wait to see it. Coach, I really appreciate you joining us after a difficult 24 hours. Guys, make sure to follow Dave Lovell at Dave Lovell Boxing on Instagram. You know, sometimes these things happen in MMA, but you guys hold yourself with lots of class as usual. And I appreciate you joining us on the show to shed some light on actually what happened at UFC 304. Really appreciate it, Dave. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. All the best.